Have you ever felt stuck in the same cycles over and over again, whether it's your relationships, your career, or even your own self talk? You want change, you crave freedom, but something keeps pulling you back. What if I told you that the key to breaking free starts with identifying the hidden pattern that's really running your life? Stay with me because today I'm going to help you uncover what's keeping you trapped so you can finally reclaim your power. At the end of this video, you'll understand what hidden patterns are and why they hold you back, how to identify the subconscious loops keeping you stuck, and a simple process to start shifting those patterns today. And stick with me to the end because I'll share a powerful question that will fast track your breakthrough. We all have patterns, behaviors, beliefs, and emotional responses that repeat like clockwork. But many of them operate beneath the surface, shaping our decisions without us even realizing it. And these patterns often come from childhood conditioning, unresolved emotional wounds, and fear based beliefs that we've picked up along the way. The truth is, all of our programming is created by our beliefs, and the majority of our beliefs come from prior to the age of about 8 years old. This is important because not only are we talking about what we were intentionally being taught, we're talking about our perception of the environment. So, if we grew up in a home where our parents were maybe distant or fighting or really busy, then we might believe that we're not worthy of time or attention because we're moving through that through the perception of a child. And even as we look at our memories and go backwards, they say over 50% of our memories aren't even true because our memories change and shift by where we are today in what's acceptable and unacceptable in our minds. So most of our beliefs come from prior to the age of 8. And then after the age of 8, our subconscious mind works very hard to prove itself right. And so it will search out events and experiences that back it up. And that's why when we have childhood conditioning, we'll start to see things that will start repeating and create these patterns. So our beliefs are the beginning place. And it is a combination of our beliefs and our experiences that bring forward patterns. And it's our patterns that drive our thoughts and our emotions, which drive our words and behaviors. On and on we go until we really create our destiny. And so I want you to take a moment and just think about a time that you've tried to step into something new. But fear, self doubt, or procrastination stopped you because that's a hidden pattern in action. For years, the words that would come with this sort of thing for myself was, but what if I fail? I was terrified to try something new. What if I fail? Maybe you have a sentence or a little blurb that runs through that's so normal, it maybe would even go underneath your own radar. So, to identify your hidden patterns, ask yourself these 3 questions. What reoccurring challenges or struggles keep showing up in my life? Whether that's in relationships, money, or self worth. 2, where do I feel the most stuck, frustrated, or powerless? And 3, what story am I telling myself about why this keeps happening? Write these down. Awareness is the first step to change. So one of my big ones, when I was working through this for my own journey, I moved through this struggle of self-worth. And one of the places that the self-worth showed up was not only in the worthiness of being loved, but the worthiness of being supported and the worthiness of being protected. And so I started to develop patterns in my life, in relationships, in money, that all supported these thoughts. So if I didn't believe that I was worthy of love, of attention, of being protected, then it wasn't really stunning that by the age of 18, I married my first husband that turned out to be abusive, supporting my theory of not being worthy of attention, of love, or being protected. And this pattern looped itself over and over and over again. Now, as I did my work, what I noticed, especially looking back on it, I noticed that each time, because I was doing work through it, each time that I would get into a new relationship, it would shift a bit, be a little less. When I married my second husband in my early 20s, I guess mid 20s, and had my son, it was a different form of relationship. Still didn't show a ton of attention or connection. And I didn't feel the love, but often that was coming from myself as well. I didn't feel worthy of love. So could I really accept it? Then we keep fast forwarding and we hit into my early 30s, and the patterns are still looping, except now things are starting to shift. I've got friends and mentors that are actively pointing these things out for me. And so the shifts are starting to come, the awareness is starting to come. Until finally, in my mid 30s, I was like, enough. I deserve better than this. Now, that would be the beginning, really, to the next phase of things. But I started to notice it, and that was the big piece. I felt powerless and frustrated within relationships, within being worthy of this love, of being supported. And I had a story behind that it kept happening because I wasn't good enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. What stories do you have that you're telling yourself to, in some ways, justify these repeating patterns and habits? And when I say awareness is the first step to change, it's because the first part of our purpose in this world is to know thyself. And we begin that in our humanness form. So know thyself of all my patterns and habits and beliefs now as a human. And then as I get to know these pieces of myself and I start making the adjustments, then I can start to create some space and some differentiation between the one that I call Dawn and the one that is in there, that is aware, that is experiencing Dawn. And those are two different things. One is my doingness, my humanness, and the other is my beingness, my soul. So now that you've identified your repeating cycles, it's time to shift them. So here's a simple but powerful exercise. So take one of your beliefs or patterns that you've discovered. Just one to start with. You can go through this over and over and over again. And ask yourself, where did this pattern come from? Who taught me this? Is it even true? So once I started delving all the way back, and it took me a while to get to the very beginning of this, where did this come from? Well, it came from my early childhood. Who taught me this? Well, it was taught by my mom and anchored in there over and over throughout the years. And is it even true? No. No. We are each an aspect of God, of source, of creation, of the universe. We are each pure potential, pure perfection. We are deserving of love, not because of anything that we've done or will do, but because we exist. So no. Now we want to rewrite the belief into one that supports our growth. So for example, if your pattern is, I am not good enough, reframe it. And we don't want to shoot to the other side necessarily I am, because sometimes that can feel like a lie. It's just too big of a leap for us to make. So instead, we want to reframe it, which is I am constantly growing, evolving, and worthy as I am. I'm worthy of unconditional love now, just as I am. Now, I promised you a powerful question that will accelerate your breakthrough. And here it is. Who would I be without this pattern? Who would I be without this pattern? Now, the key to this powerful question is to take a moment and go into some quiet. So I'm going to encourage you to close your eyes and truly sit with it. Byron Katie, in Loving What Is and all of her work, and you can find it on thework.com, she asks 4 questions to any limiting belief that is creating any form of distress inside of ourselves. So any thought that's not bringing us closer to love is then pushing us further away. And anything that is taking us away from love, away from peace, we need to question it. And in her 4 questions, she says the first question is this even true? Or is this true? And can I absolutely know that this is true? And then she asks, who am I with this thought? How do I react? How do I behave when I believe this? And then her 4th question is, who would I be without this thought? And so we can reframe it in that same way within our programming. So who would you be without it? And I really want you to imagine yourself. Imagine your life without this block. What choices would you make? How would you feel? The more you connect with this future version of yourself, the more you'll naturally begin to embody them. So I encourage you to even take a moment, pause this video, and embody that. Who would you be without this pattern? What would your life look like? So today you learned how hidden patterns keep you stuck, how to uncover them, and a simple process to shift them. And now it's your turn. Drop a comment below and let me know what's one pattern that you've identified today. If it doesn't feel safe or good to share your comment here, I encourage you to join our private Facebook community, The Awakening Circle. We've created a safe place to have big conversations, deep conversations, and I'd love to see you over there. And if you'd like more, then I encourage you to go over to my website, practicalspiritualismco.com, and check out or sign up for our newsletters where we share our latest videos, blogs, give tools and tips, breathwork and meditations, as well as events. And if this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on reclaiming your power. See you in the next one. Remember, breaking free starts with awareness. You're already on the path, so keep going. Brightest of blessings.